What does it tell about the board game if you play it a lot?
You don't have any other board games?
That, or it's really, really good! In this video we're gonna look at our most played board games this year.
And hopefully this year, finally, I have played more games than you have. When else if not now? You have a small kid, your wife doesn't want to play games with you anymore that much.
She wants to, she can't.
Yeah, that's what she says. Here's a sneak preview. We actually compared the number last week and I was ahead. Unless Giannis tryharded and just played a lot of solo games over the week, I should be ahead. Which could be true. He's very competitive.
2, 1. Don't get used to it. I played Ian's Trespass a lot. I had a kid.
Oh, so it's like...
I did other things. Yeah. Those are good enough excuses. God damn it.
Anyway, let's get to the first category, which is the most played filler game.
2, 1. Crokinole is a 2-player or 4-player competitive game where you flick discs and try to hit the center. But also points count if you get close enough. You can flick the discs and try to hit the opponent's discs away from the board and they get 0 points, you get tons of points. A lovely game. Why did I play it so many times? Because it is a quick filler game with tons of intrigue. Also, whenever I put that game on the table, we play it until we pass out. And there's a reason why this really old game is still on BGG's top 100. Anything else you want to add?
Well, I'll add that my filler was Sky Team, which we just reviewed. You were both pilots trying to land a plane.
So it's a cooperative game where you can't talk, that's very important. And you have 4 dice that you need to put on the board, and each place you can put it does a bit different thing.
One player starts, he has to place 1 die and then trigger that action. Some actions trigger immediately, some actions trigger only when we both place a die at that action, and some of those are mandatory. If we don't place the die there, we lose.
Basically, don't crash and land safely.
The most played family game.
3, 2, 1. Horrified. In Horrified, you play heroes that want to fight these monsters. Depending on the set or the game you have, they might be Greek monsters or classic monsters like vampire, werewolf. This is a cooperative game. Either all of you win or all of you lose, and you can win if you defeat all the monsters on the table.
On your turn, you have a certain amount of actions. You can move, you can collect items, they help you defeat the monsters. Then you can try to save civilians because they will give you bonuses if you do, and if you don't and they die, you get closer to losing the game.
Basically, just move, get items, or use those items for your benefit. And then, after each of your turns, monsters will attack you or attack the civilians. Loveliest thing about this family game is that you can teach it to almost anybody. It's simple. Just move, pick up items, or use those items. Yet, it's very nice and playable with gamers. So for me, it was just so easy to get to the table. That's why I think I played it the most times.
My most played family game is Borderline Kids game. Zingazam is a simple, and when I mean simple, I mean super simple trick-taking game where each player holds their hand of cards facing the other players. So I don't actually know what's in my hand, except there are some cards that are turned my way, so I have some info. Everybody plays a card, highest number takes the trick, and each card in your trick pile is worth 1 point. However, each of the cards also has a special ability, like next player skips a turn, or you get to steal 1 point from them. These weird little actions. And the game takes like 10 minutes to play. Our most played solo game.
20 strong.
Oh, it did catch up.
I actually have it here.
It's so tiny.
I'll say it now. Epic game, this little box. You play a hero, a character that needs to defeat a villain. Depending on the deck you choose, you are either like a cute little hero or maybe a robot. And you can always win by defeating the boss. But before you get to the boss, you have to defeat either its minions or some quests. So depending on how well you do with the minions or quests, the easier time you will have with the monsters. Whole game is just these 20 dice. These dice are in different colors. This die has only 2 successes on it. So it's hard to hit, right? And this die has all of the successes. When you have to defeat a monster, you can choose however many dice you want to roll. So you just take them and roll them, and let's see what happens. That's great, you kill them, but the problem is all of these dice now are exhausted.
Oh, so it's a quick game. 2 monsters and I'm done.
Some of the dice you will get back depending on your stats, and you can again use however many dice you want to, and that's the game. Cool part also is whenever you defeat a minion or do a quest, you get a superpower, like different abilities. Each like minion is unique with their powers. A lot of decisions because all these cards are unique. Even though we just got this game, I managed to get a lot of plays in it. and I think it's one of my favorite solo games ever.
My most played solo game is the one
I had a joke. You ready?
Yeah, bring it.
So now, from 20 strong to 1 weak one. What game did you play, Giannis?
Final Girl.
See, my joke works.
But Final Girl is a solo game where you play Final Girl from a classic slasher movie. There are different sets that kind of play out one of the movies you probably know. And your goal is to, well, kill the villain, the murderer, the ghost, depending on the set you pick. And it's a card dice driven game where on your turn you're gonna play a card and then roll some dice and that's gonna tell you how many actions you can do. And sometimes you can do a lot and sometimes you're not gonna do anything because you rolled badly. It can be very swingy. Thematically, it comes through. If you put on a soundtrack, it just oozes theme. But yeah, it can be random. The next category is Euro.
Does hybrid games work as well?
They should, otherwise my game does not fit the list.
So most played Euro game for both of us
Yeah.
is Dune Imperium.
Dune Imperium indeed. This skyrocketed for me because an app came out, played a lot of it there, but also IRL, played a lot of it.
In Dune, you play one of the houses there from the books or the movies, whichever you prefer. You try to like control the universe and get the most influence, control there.
Well, your goal is to get 10 victory points.
I tried to like spice it up. I see spicy. And you just like
Nice.
victory points.
Nice.
You get victory points by winning combat. You get victory points by getting alliances with factions or intrigues. They can give you some powers or victory points. And you try to get the most victory points at the end of the game. On your turn, you play a card and the card will tell you on what spaces you can go. So you take one of your agents, go to that space, and that space will let you get either resources, some combat power, and other stuff.
Yeah. If you run out of agents, then you do a reveal turn, and usually at the reveal turn you will get more cards that you add to your deck, or maybe some other little bonuses, combat strength and things like that.
Then we go to the combat and see how many troops you have in the battle and see who wins this round. And then you repeat the process until somebody wins the game. Why did we play it so many times? It's very simple. Because it's freaking amazing. One of the best games of all time.
Story/campaign game.
1, 2, 3.
Oh no, it's Eon's Trespass. How unexpected. I am fully surprised. Do tell how awesome that game is that I'll never play.
I love your disappointment. Whenever I see this face, it just warms my heart. Let me just enjoy it a bit. Why all this excitement in Giannis's face? Because it is an amazing game that Giannis has just played for a little bit. And
He let me touch it once. It was an amazing experience.
So in this game we are in ancient Greece and we played these like chosen people who are the only ones that can sync up with titans.
How long is it gonna take?
Few hours, I guess.
I'll be back, guys.
You
tell.
You go.
Huge monsters. Oh, amazing game.
Huge monsters came and killed all Greek gods. And you're the only ones that hopefully can protect the world and anything that's still good in it.
You done?
No, I just started.
Oh my god! It's a cooperative boss battler. There's a little bit of like exploring the map like in 7th Continent. There's a little bit of managing your base.
That story is just freaking amazing. It's the best story writing I have ever played in board games. It makes me feel things. I've been like thrilled. I've been excited. I've been scared. I've been happy. I've been sad.
I haven't played it, but it also makes me feel things. How do I follow that? Mine's Dorf Romantic. Has no story whatsoever. Board game based upon a video game that is this relaxing, chill game where when I told my kids and wife how you play it, I said this is a game where you cannot lose. Where you're trying to beat your own score by placing tiles and scoring them. Something like Carcassonne, but not really. We play all together, revealing tiles, scoring them. When the tiles run out, we add our score, and that's how many like crosses we get where we can follow the campaign trail and unlock a new card. Amazing.
So how can you get the titans here?
But this is a super amazing, simple, chill game.
When you say amazing, what do you mean with that amazing?
How do you turn off your mic? Can you turn it off? But it's one of the games that my wife keeps requesting to play again. For people who don't have 100 hours to waste on a game, spend on a game. The most played party game.
1, 2, 3. Dungeon Fighters.
Crocodile.
Nice.
Anyway, everything you said about Criminal is true, but I also feel it's a great party game because you can play without 4 players, and even if there's more than 4 players, one game takes 15-20 minutes. You can do a mini tournament. Just watching other people play is also exciting. Such a simple game to put on the table and anybody can learn in seconds and play and have fun, and it fits a lot of categories, but for me it fits the party game category.
You know how we usually try to disagree with each other for the sake of the content and to be funny? I agree with you.
It's because it's holiday season.
Dungeon Fighters for me is like a quick and silly party game as well, and I usually play it with people who don't play board games, or it's for that sports person in your life. All the heroes have died fighting these monsters, and all that's left is, well, you. So you play an orc with a flute or wanna be Harry Potter and go into the dungeon and you hope you're gonna win. It's your turn, you have to take a die and then throw it. Not roll it, throw it against a table and try to hit the mark.
And then depending on the monster you're fighting, because you're fighting a monster each round, they will give you modifications on how you need to throw it. Your eyes closed, somebody else has to hold your hand. If you're using a weapon, you're gonna combine these, like you have to jump up and throw it backwards and just crazy things, and it's just fun watching and the yelling when you succeed in killing the monster, because it is a co-op game and you either win or lose together.
And it just gives you such joy and thrill playing with whoever. It's a lovely, lovely party game that I can truly recommend if you like dexterity games.
Most played 2-player game.
3, 2, 1. Star Wars deck building.
Ah, yeah.
Right. It's a quick game where you are either the rebels or the Empire and fight with each other. On your turn, you just have to play all your cards in your hand. And those cards can either attack, they can give you resources to buy new cards, or it can give you force. It's Star Wars. You want the force to be with you. You can buy so many cards, build your deck. There's a lot of luck involved as well, but I just freaking love it. I'm not the biggest Star Wars fan in the world at all. Just the game itself flows so well. I put plus Mindbug. Actually, just one logged play was between these two. And I'm not gonna tell you anything about Mindbug because we're gonna talk about the second most played games in each of those categories and any extras in the video that's meant just for our supporters. Because each month we create a video just for our supporters. Automatically when you become our supporter, you get never seen before videos. If you want to see a bit more of our faces, then you can just support us, and that's just one of the many benefits you get.
Well, for me, it's Magic the Gathering. I think it was my first modern board game ever. I played a lot of it when I was like 12, and I still like it. It's an amazing 2-player experience, even simpler to get in now than it was then, because there are like these jumpstart packs. It might feel a bit dated. And now we're gonna get all these bad comments, yeah. Essentially, you're playing a wizard, and you're trying to kill the other player who's also a wizard by taking away 20 life points. And you summon these creatures, play spells, and attack. I mean, if you played a competitive card game, it probably has a lot of similarities to that game, because I think it was one of the first, if not the first, competitive collectible card game ever. That it's still so strong after all these years tells you something. Anyway, what have been your most played games this year?
The conversations about all the games you have played and we have to play is the most fun we have on the channel, so let us know in the comments. And also, happy holidays.
Yeah, I guess happy holidays. There's gonna be some more videos this year still coming out, but especially thank you to all our supporters, and do watch that other video what are our second most played games this year.